Listen, I know what you're thinking. Jack, don't you have better things to be doing than solving fictional murders? And the answer is no. No, I do not. Mind your own business. So I saw this book on TikTok, actually. First published in 1934, this is Cain's Jawbone. And basically, this is a murder mystery book with a twist. So there's 100 pages in this book, but they're all in the wrong order. And what you have to do is basically cut them all out and work out the clues to rearrange them into the correct order. By doing that, you will reveal the 6 murder victims and their respective murderers. It says on the first page, please note this puzzle is extremely difficult and not for the faint-hearted. So that actually kind of rules me out. And can I just say, up until recently, only 3 people had ever managed to actually do this, so very bold of me to assume that I'll be number 4. 4 is my mental age, not the position I'll be in solving this book. And for some reason, when I ordered this, I also thought it would be absolutely essential to also order this detective hat. The first mystery I would like to solve is, why does this hat smell like cucumber? As you can see, no expenses were spared. But in here we have the crucial page, which is the prize. So in 1934, a prize of £15 was offered to the first reader who could reorder the pages in the correct order. To coincide with this paperback re-release, Unbound is reviving the competition, offering a prize to any readers who provide the names of the murdered and their murderers, as well as the correct order of the pages and a short explanation of how the solution was obtained. The winners will receive £250 or $350. Competition will close on the 31st of December 2022. So we gotta get a wiggle on. So for today's video, I'm going to be giving this literary puzzle a go, and let's see what I can come up with, if anything. Honestly, if I get 1 clue, I'll be buzzing. That'll be my year made. So I'm thinking my first step should be to cut out all the pages, and then I've got this white tack so that I can stick these up on the wall. Firstly, so that I can see them all right in front of me, and secondly, so that I can recreate this meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So here goes nothing. Welcome to the video. Okay, I've now cut out all of the pieces of paper, and I can't lie, given how much I struggled with this pretty basic task, it doesn't bode overly well for solving the mystery.
I know she's hiding something, I see it in her eyes. All her candle flames are blowing with no wind inside. I'm a willing victim to her endless crimes. I look around me, but there's nowhere to hide.
Okay, so this book is now on this wall, and what the hell do we do now? They have very kindly given us this answer sheet in here, but I don't think we're gonna need it. My brain right now is no thoughts, just vibes, truly. I think this is gonna remain pretty blank. Honestly, my toxic trait was thinking I would be able to solve this. I am not gonna be able to solve this, but I'm gonna give it a go. So, my first thought was I should look at how each page ends and how the other ones start and try to kind of match them up. Yeah, they thought of that. Every page ends in a full stop. Aside from a few, I think there's a couple, like this one just here. Nope, that's a full stop. There was one down here, I swear. This one down here. Oh, you can't see me. Here. If that one doesn't end in a full stop, then one of them must be the continuation of that page. The question is, which one? What I think I need to do is read through every single page for the first time and just get like a first impression so that I can kind of have something to go off of. This is overwhelming. This is intense. I feel like Sue Gray trying to work out how many times the Tories broke the law. It's a lot to take in, you know? I thought my daily Wordle was the biggest brain challenge of the day. Not anymore, my friends. Not anymore.
She's the kind of girl that's always gonna haunt me. Like a ghost that sleeps beside me, dusk till dawn. I know she's really got a power.
Guys, this is hard. This is really, really tricky. I may have bitten off a bit more than I could chew with this one, but I did find some more pages that don't end with full stops. So that's the one good thing that's happened to me so far. So when this page ends without a full stop, the following page continues. So these 2 pages do belong next to each other. And then over here, we have exactly the same situation. So this one leads on from this page. Now, I also have these blue tabs for pages with poetry on, and I think the next thing I'm gonna do is basically to write down all of these lines of poetry and see if they're all from the same poem or from different poems, and if they're from the same poem, whether they are in the right order or not. Like this one, for example, this looks like a line of poetry that is gonna be followed by something else, so I'm feeling like one of the pages like this one that start with a line of poetry could end up going next to this. Okay, so I see how people get hooked on this, because when you get something, It is the most gratifying thing. It's the biggest dopamine rush ever. So the final line of page 86 is a line of poetry. It says, "But we have all bent low and kissed the quiet feet." So I googled it, and it's from a poem by W.B. Yeats. And the line after this is of Kathleen, the daughter of Houlihan. And that is the first line of one of the pages up there. That is the first line of page 24, which means that page 86 is followed by page 24. And those two page numbers add up to 100. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. I didn't say that. I've been waiting pretty much all day to get my yarn out. I've just dropped it because now I feel like a true detective. So we're gonna stick that there, and then we can link it to page 24. Did Sherlock Holmes solve his mysteries using pink yarn? Possibly not, but I think it's very cool. I can't open my wardrobe door anymore, though. That's an issue for future Jack. Current Jack is going to try and crack some more clues. Okay, I have just linked 2 more sets of poetry, and I'm over the moon. I see how people get addicted to this. I really do. And I've done the most simple, basic stuff, and I'm hooked. Okay, so the next one we're gonna try is this one just here, and let's see. Okay, so it's from A Prophecy by William Blake, and we have up to the silver-bowed queen. So then the next line, Rintrah, where hast thou hid thy bride? A question I often ask myself. And then hopefully one of these. This one! Yes! Oh, incredible. Page 13 and page 49. This is just fantastic. Okay, on to the next one. Right, this one ends with, "The golden one is gone from the banquet." Oh, this is from an epigram by HD. So the next line should start with the swallow. I don't think I've seen that anywhere. Oh no, disaster. It was going so well. This plan seemed faultless. Until now. This one, here. Okay, so that is all of the poetry done. The problem is, I don't know what to do next. Now, if you want to spend your time on something that is a little bit less impossible, you should join Babbel, who have very kindly sponsored today's video. Now, Babbel is a language learning platform with 14 languages that you can choose from. And it's something that I actually use every single day to learn French. Because, as a lot of you will know, I recently moved to Paris, and at this point, learning French is a survival tactic, truly. And the best part about Babbel is that everything is right in one place, so you can learn grammar, speaking, listening, reading, writing. And my favorite part of learning a language on Babbel is that it gives you real conversations to translate and fill in the gaps. So you're not just learning random words, but you're actually learning them in context. And quite often the stories are quite funny. The lessons are kind of these bite-sized chunks, and they build up the language in a way that just makes perfect sense in my brain. And so it's really easy to actually see your development and incorporate it into your daily routine. It's a big goal of mine to get better at French in 2022, and Babbel is the way that I'm doing that. They also have live classes and cultural lessons, as well as podcasts. I would specifically recommend Parlay Away, which is great for kind of learning language in practical ways that you would actually use it. You can use Babbel on desktop, on iOS and Android, and the best part is if you use my link down below, you can get 30% off 6-month, 12-month and lifetime access to Babbel. So get involved now, it's the perfect time to start learning a new language and working on yourself. And massive shout out to Babbel for working with me. I wish I was doing that instead of struggling my way through this. Okay, onwards. Time has passed, I've had dinner, and I've also had some developments with the Wall of Mystery. The first thing I did, which took absolutely ages, is to add these orange tabs to every page that mentions death, dying, killing, murder, stabbing. You get the gist. Anything like that now has an orange tab because obviously what we're trying to do here is work out who the murderers are and who the victims are, and so I thought it was quite useful to have those pages marked out. And that got me thinking about what the end goal of this whole thing is, like what the original author actually wanted us to do. And that is to put these pages in the correct chronological order. And so I realised there are a few dates sort of like hidden within the text. So here, for example, it said there had been other murders, of course, today, and with greater consequence, Francis Ferdinand's. Now, Franz Ferdinand was murdered on the 28th of June, so this murder took place on the 28th of June. I can't even tell you how buzzing I was when I worked that one out. Page 22 references how it was the birthday of a good one in prison, John and Cornelius, the Dort people. When I googled them, it came up with the DeWitt brothers, John and Cornelius, whose birthday was the 15th of June. So this page happens after this page. Right? Page number 2 references how a writer strangely died today, and the lines just before it are quoting Daniel Defoe, a writer. Smarticle particles right here, guys. This honestly made me feel so good about myself. The cause of his death was labelled as lethargy, but he probably experienced a stroke, so he kind of did strangely die, and his death was on the 24th of April. This one here referenced St. Wigbert's Day, which is August the 13th, and I just spotted this one right here, which referenced Hyacinth's Day. So this is the part where we just hope and pray that something comes up when we Google Hyacinth's Day. Oh, okay, so we have Hyacinth of Poland, and that is the 17th of August. That is going on the wall. The thing for me is, how the hell was this possible without Google? Because this came out in 1934, so imagine reading Hyacinth's Day on page 10, having to run to the local library to find out when Hyacinth's Day was. Because, like, for example, without Googling those lines of poetry, I would have had no idea that was Daniel Defoe. I am feeling very grateful for Google right now. So I'm going to try and see if I can find more literary references, because I feel like that might be the clue here. And I think I'm just gonna have to take it page by page and we'll see what I can do. Okay, I have updates. So, absolute game changer. I bought an online version, like a digital version of this book so that I could easily search things and copy and paste things into Google, because I was typing things up every time and it was taking so long. So being able to just copy and paste straight from a document and then writing onto my physical copy is revolutionizing my experience with Cain's Jawbone. And listen, I know that's an advantage that I have over people who did this in the 1930s, but you know what? I'm gonna let myself have this one because there are so many references to cultural things or events or ways of behaving in the 1930s that I just will not get from reading this. So I'm gonna let myself have this one. Anyway, I've spent the last hour basically researching line by line and searching up references to literature, to flowers, to events, to characters, to cultural references. And the thing is, this started as a joke. And I don't think it's a joke anymore. I think I'm obsessed. And I want to show you what I found. So I think that page 43 and page 48 are linked because they're the only two references to the narrator's nickname of Eki, which I think is a reference to the 39 Steps, because here we have a line from the play. We have reference to an honest station between King's Cross and Edinburgh. At the time, the only station was York, and they would stop there for a lunch break en route. I found a reference right here to Typhoon by Conrad, and the line before this one references a character who is also referenced right here. And so is Conrad. This is the only other place he's mentioned, so I think these two pages are linked. We have reference to Shakespeare's Henry V. I'm noticing a lot of references to tea. I just wish I knew what tea they were spilling. I don't. Now, there's a character called Henry who is referenced so often, like more often than anyone else, that I've taken to underlining every time that he's mentioned, and this is the first time that the narrator and Henry meet. Reference to Carol and HD and Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. The 11 that played All England for 1,000 guineas was the Hambledon Club, and it was a cricket match. We also have reference to the narrator's favourite author, which is Walt Whitman, who's referenced twice then on this page. And then my favourite thing to find is another date. So it says, the Cardinal was acquitted today of all complicity in the affair of the Queen's diamond necklace, and this happened on the 31st of May. And who knows, it may have some relevance to the rest of the story. And I also found this reference here to La Belle Alliance, which is Waterloo. Honestly, no one is more surprised than me that this is starting to go well. I still don't know what any of it means and what the relevance of these things are, but I just wanted to prove to you that I've done something. I actually finally have something to show for all of the hours I've stood kind of like pondering this wall of random scraps of paper. So a fun fact about me is I have never been relaxed, ever. And so it's approaching midnight and I'm gonna call it a day for tonight, but I have found a few more things. Firstly, there's a bunch of French poetry and other various references to Paris and France. Thanks Babel for helping me with that. And the problem is, I think there might be multiple narrators. And this is a problem because that means it's a whole lot harder than I first thought. I also think there might be multiple characters all with the same name, Henry, and so, yeah, that's a whole separate issue. And then also, the last thing that I found that I think connects two of the passages is here where we have reference to my strong tea and my first pill, and here where it says, as I took my second pill. So I think that those two pages are linked. And now my brain is tired. I've had like a whole brain workout and I'm going to bed. Hello and welcome to another day of my Cain's Jawbone odyssey, aka a 23-year-old slowly losing their mind on camera. So I have been thinking, as in when I got into bed last night, this stupid thing was all I could think about. Just a reminder, it's not even real. But I have theories. I have more theories than Taylor Swift fans trying to work out Easter eggs. So I'm pretty set on the fact that I think there are multiple narrators. Where the theory gets a little bit weird and wacky is that I think one of those narrators might be a dog. I don't even know anymore. I think I'm literally filming a mental breakdown. One of the ways I'm going to try and divide these up is based on tense. So I think that some of them are written in the present tense, whereas some of them are written in the past tense. And then also compiling lists of literary allusions, because I think some narrators reference certain authors. Like, one of them makes a ton of references to Sherlock Holmes. One of them speaks French, and potentially one of them's a dog. I don't even know. It is so frustrating, right? Because there will be certain things that come up straight away when you search them online. Then there'll be other things. Like on page 38, we have reference to that tragic fortnight at Southend, the pier with its electric railway. So my brain was like, oh, this will give me a date when something tragic happened in Southend. I can't find anything. I cannot find this date anywhere. But the Southend Tourism Board thinks I'm very interested because I've been on their website a lot of times. In fact, my whole search history is really weird at this point. I'm definitely going to end up on some sort of watch list. Firstly, because I've searched the word murder quite a lot of times and in a lot of different contexts and a lot of elaborate different ways when I've searched random terms that have come up, because the thing is, you're trying to work out if it's a literary reference, an allusion, but quite often you'll search something and the top result will be like terrorist prevention. One thing led me to advice on how to hide a murder or how to clean up blood. So someone out there is watching me and they're quite concerned, I think. Then on page 19, the narrator says, I heard him muttering that it was appropriate the human comedy couldn't possibly have gone on beyond today. So I researched. The human comedy is a series of novels and novellas by Balzac, but I cannot find anywhere the day that the last one was published or when the human comedy couldn't possibly have gone on beyond. So it's like, it's a bit of a thankless task sometimes, you know? But I'm trying. I'm really giving it a go. I do have a theory that one of the narrators is called John, specifically Sir John Trinder. But aside from that, this is making me feel like I have 0.2 brain cells. And now I'm gonna try and work out. I'm gonna focus on another 10 pages, I think, in a lot of detail, and we'll see where that leads me. Okay, the update is I've been over 10 more pages. I found quite a few references to the gardener. I think the gardener is quite an important character here. I found a reference to the poet Stevenson on page 30, who is also referenced on page 1. A few more references to Sherlock, a letter by Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, more references to Walt Whitman, and a spoonerism. I think there might actually be a couple of spoonerisms kind of throughout the text, but I need to find them. And also, the thing I'm most buzzing about is another connection, because I found another reference to pills on page 40, so potentially that links it to page 3 and page 20. Need to look into that more, could be a red herring. I don't know. What I do know is that I'm gonna have to split this video into two because I want to keep doing this. I'm not ready to let it go just yet, and I feel like I'm only really just scratching the surface. Like, my technique at the moment is to find all of the literary allusions, because once I work out what is just quoting something else, I think it'll be easier to work out where the actual story is on each page. I've been less Sherlock and Dr. Watson and more Sherlock and Dr. What is going on, but I tried my best. I gave it a go, okay? Participation award, it's the taking part that counts, and I can now recreate that meme. And really, that's what we're here for, right? If you enjoyed my suffering in this video, you can give it a thumbs up if you like, and also subscribe so you're the first one to see part 2. A massive shout out to the TikTok creators who drew my attention to Cain's Jawbone, and also to Babbel for very kindly sponsoring this video. I'm off to do my daily French, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. All the best, stay in touch, and if you need me, I'll be right here. Okay, catch you next time, bye!